The seals of the 30 heads who belong to the zodiacal sign of Virgo are all to be drawn in brown color. Figure 175, Paresh, 1 degree Virgo, controls all political events in our physical world. Depending on the degree of development and maturity of mankind, he causes this or that idea to come to importance and social attitudes to become valuable. Furthermore, he decides on the duration of a political power, either by appropriate diplomatic developments or by wars, and he lets political views have failure or success, as divine providence orders it, considering the spiritual development of mankind. If the magician wants it, then this head helps him with a high political career, equips him with the faculties of an excellent orator, who knows how to bind people by word. Apart from this, he equips the magician with toughness and endurance which remain without comparison so that he can realize all his wishes in this respect. Figure 176, Bruai, 2 degrees Virgo, is the protector of all inventions in the Akasha principle, so that they are not realized before their time. As occasion demands, he inspires certain individuals to make certain inventions and causes these to be realized in the physical world. However, this head also hinders people with high intuitive faculties from realizing inventions which are not to be made known to the public before a longer time, maybe a century or 5 centuries, has passed. The magician in the favor of this head is shown by him under the seal of secrecy, in the Akasha principle, which kind of inventions will startle our world in 100 or even 1,000 years. Figure 177, Moshil, 3 degrees Virgo, controls every art on our physical world. His subordinates administrate the various branches of art. Special methods revealed to the magician by this head, either by his relevant subordinated beings or direct transference, enable the magician to equip himself with any artistic faculty. Moshil also helps the magician to make an artistic career. Figure 178, Rashkiya, 4 degrees Virgo. One could justly regard this head as the king of flowers, for all the flowers on our earth are under his protection. From this head the magician learns to understand the language of flowers, i.e., the symbolic meaning of the various kinds of flowers in their relationship to man as well as to the universal laws. The color, shape and number of the petals reveal to the magician the analogies to the universal laws, and he sees from this what, in the world of flowers, is real beauty. Penetrating deeper into this knowledge, the magician learns to look at and understand each flower from the esoteric point of view, and he learns to grasp the qualities of each flower in any respect and to use them for magic purposes. Figure 179, Gurmil, 5 degrees Virgo. This head is a representative of love, harmony and beauty, and at the same time their protector. He teaches the magician to see love in everything. Love and harmony on the one hand, and hate and disharmony on the other will teach the magician to understand, too, the exact laws of sympathy and antipathy. Not before having gained this knowledge will the magician realize what is true beauty and that, in fact, beauty is but another expression for harmony. This head helps the magician to come to a genuine perception of beauty. Figure 180, Zagreana, 6 degrees Virgo. All teaching in its widest sense comes under this head's sphere of influence. All teachers, writers, journalists and editors are protected by this intelligence. If the magician needs any advice in this or in a similar respect, if he needs protection, or if he desires to be successful, Zagreana will either assist him personally or send one of his beings to give help. Figure 181, Jilin, 7 degrees Virgo, is regarded as the original initiator into speech and writing. Having received orders from divine providence, he has caused man, since his creation, to express thoughts, terms, ideas etc. first by signs, then by articulated sounds and words, later by compound sentences and finally as a language. Then the head instructed his subordinates to see that this language was expressed externally in form of symbols in diverse ways, thereby laying the initial brick for literature as a means of communication and written tradition. But it took a long time until the language in writing reached the present state of literature. This head will make it easy for the magician dealing with the decoding of ancient, so far unrevealed, letters, and interpreting them. There are no records in writing on Earth that could not be decoded by the magician with the help of this intelligence or his subordinates. Yulin can also instruct the magician in the so-called magic of runes. Figure 182, Alpazo, 8 degrees Virgo. Since the beginning of human records, this head has been the protector of all poor and suppressed. In the Akasha he controls the fates of all slaves, beggars, gypsies, homeless persons, etc. He also helps persons who, by having become addicts to narcotics, are thrown out of the normal way of life, especially in cases where these people should, according to their fate, not be met by any accidents. Such people then pass every inconvenience without difficulties. Here the saying may be applied that drunkards have a charmed life. Figure 183, Chiron, 9 degrees Virgo, is known as an excellent initiator into alchemical magic. He shows the magician many methods by which he can strengthen the bond between the astral body and the spirit, and also such methods by which he can make his astral body immune from destruction by astral elements and so reach astral immortality. If the magician asks for it, this head will instruct him in such methods by which he can cause the same effects in respect of the astral matrix, thus for his physical body, so that he is able to prolong his life as long as he wants. If the magician applies the methods given by this intelligence, age will show no effects on his body, he will never suffer from any external influence. Wounds caused by stabs or cuts, even the strongest heat, cannot do any harm to the body sheltered in such a way. Figure 184, Borea, 10 degrees Virgo, is an excellent initiator into alchemical secrets and entrusts the magician with methods by which he can achieve diverse faculties and powers by the application of appropriate alchemical means. This intelligence reveals to the magician how to produce diverse alchemical medicines, incense, magic ointments, oils for exteriorization and other mediumistic purposes. Apart from this, Borea helps with the charging and impregnation of alchemical means, either personally or by his subordinates. Figure 185, Raganon, 11 degrees Virgo. If the magician wants to have esteem, success, honor and riches in business, this head can help him a great deal in this respect by putting at his disposal his subordinates. Apart from this, he can make the magician achieve great skill in his trade or profession. All tradesmen having to deal with metals, especially iron, are under the special protection of this head. Thus, for instance, technicians, constructors, engineers, smiths, mechanics, etc. If the magician carries out any such jobs, he can achieve great things with the help of this head of the zone girdling the earth. Figure 186, Agro, 12 degrees Virgo, is the custodian of all relics, holy places, temples, churches, statues of saints, pictures of saints, etc. and, furthermore, of all religions of the world from the beginning of mankind up to modern ages. A magician in contact with this head will be informed by him how divine ideas, deities, etc. are symbolized by pictures of saints, statues, temples and other symbols. He also tells the magician how in turn pictures, statues, monuments are, as personified deities, true analogies of the divine ideas, concepts, etc. Agro also explains to the magician the rites with personified deities and reveals to him their secret meaning. Figure 187, Algebol, 13 degrees Virgo, is the expert and leader of all traditional religious rites, rituals and ceremonies of all religious systems. He may justly be regarded as a master of ceremonies. He acquaints the magician with all ceremonies, rituals and customs of any religion or sect, historical or modern, and explains to him their significance, thus enabling the magician to realize the full magical value, the power or dynamics of a ritual or ceremony. Figure 188, Carissa, 14 degrees Virgo, is the protector of all medical doctors in the world. Even the medicine men of the days of yore looked up to this head of the zone girdling the earth with devotion and made him sacrifices. But even nowadays doctors, especially surgeons, are inspired by this intelligence. Carissa arranges that certain sick people are cured by certain physicians. The whole chemical pharmaceutical production comes under the range of his powers. The sick magician who seeks the help of this head will get from him the exact diagnosis and will be told ways and remedies by which he can recover his physical health. Figure 189, Akigi, 15 degrees Virgo. The magician may summon this head in all business matters, for he will always secure him the biggest success. Akigi has a special affection for everything that has to do with paper or textiles. His influence, however, also covers the working up of furs, skins, leather, and the like, so that the magician will be supported by this intelligence not only in business affairs, but it will also be able to get from him special recipes for the working up of furs, leather, etc. The magician may also be taught about many methods for the working up of paper and about impregnation materials which so far have not yet been made known to the public. Figure 190, Basanola, 16 degrees Virgo. Since this head controls all vegetation, he may be regarded as the protector of agriculture and forestry. He is an expert in this respect, and the magician who gets into touch with him may learn a great deal from him. Apart from giving methods and instructions for effecting a good growth of plants, this head also instructs the magician in special magico-ableistic methods by which growth of plants can be accelerated or delayed, depending on what the magician wishes. Figure 191, Rota, 17 degrees Virgo, is a master of fantastic vision. Under his competence come all sagas, fairy tales and stories. This head inspires all Thosis poets and writers who are occupied with the production of sagas, fairy tales and stories. Rota provides them with an excellent power of imagination and lets them express this in suitable words. He likes to hide true events and magic secrets by fairy tales, so that the magician, having called him, is given the appropriate explanations as to what each fairy tale contains from the hermetic point of view. Figure 192, Tigrapho, 18 degrees Virgo, is a master of architecture and the art of structural engineering. From the beginning of mankind he has instructed man how he should dwell. Tigrapho is regarded the protector of all builders and architects on earth and assists them by inspirations in their design work, no matter whether they are designing highways, river basins, waterworks or anything of that sort. If the magician is in this profession, Tigrapho may help him a great deal by intuition. Figure 193, Cobalt, 19 degrees Virgo, is able to initiate the magician into the art of magic sense. From this head the magician learns to compose harmonious and inharmonious scents, for instance, scents that cause love and sympathy or optional dreams, or scents which can increase one's power of concentration, scents for meditations, incense materials for diverse magic experiments, etc. The magician may also be told by Cobalt details concerning osmotherapy, i.e., the treatment of diseases by sense. Figure 194, Hippogo, 20 degrees Virgo. Everything that has to do with water and its relation to man falls under the competence of this head. Thus, for instance, swimming, diving, moving along the surface of waters in all kinds of vessels, beginning from the simplest raft up to the most up-to-date steamship. Hippogo is the inspirer of shipbuilding, including the construction of submarines and everything that moves on or in the water and is built by men. If the magician is interested, this head will allow him to look into the most distant future to see all technical inventions to come in respect of mankind moving along the water. Figure 195, Izrag, 210 Virgo, is regarded as the conveyor of fortune to mankind. He brings luck in games, competitions, at the stock exchange, in speculations and ventures of any kind. The magician who has this head as his friend will have every wish fulfilled in the physical world. He will be fortunate and successful in everything he undertakes. This head will also entrust him with methods which will give him happiness and contentment in any respect. Figure 196, Brefio, 22 degrees Virgo, can be regarded as custodian of material laws and of justice. In every case where the magician is in the right, this head will see that the matter is decided in the magician's favor. Brefio punishes, either personally or by one of his subordinates, any person that will do the magician injustice or who intends to do so, without the magician necessarily knowing about it. People who persecute the magician will be maliciously punished by Brefio's subordinate spirits, especially if the magician has had, or still has, good connections to this head. Figure 197, Elypinon, 23 degrees Virgo. By this head the magician is instructed and trained in all Mantic arts according to the laws of analogy, no matter whether fortune-telling with cards, the tarot game, I Ching, chiromancy, horoscopy, or anything of that sort is involved. Elypinon makes it possible for the magician to become a prophet by the training of the Mantic arts, and he helps him in becoming a genuine expert in this respect. Mantic experts all over the world are under the control of this head of the zone girdling the earth. Figure 198, Nanaroa, 24 degrees Virgo, guards the property of every person. The magician who has this head as his special friend has his property protected by his subordinates against all kinds of catastrophe, not only fire, thunderstorms, floods, but also against burglary, theft, etc. Nanaroa will make him acquainted with methods by which a thief can be forced to return the stolen articles, or influenced in such a manner that he will betray himself. Also other magic practices for the recovery of lost goods can be learned from this head. Figure 199, Olarski, 25 degrees Virgo, is the original initiator of all vehicles and means for transportation on the dry ground, starting from the simple cart up to the most modern automobile. If the magician wants to get certain information on this field, or if he wants to make technical improvements and new inventions, he will find his best master and assistant in this head. If he has a good contact with this intelligence, he can be sure to be especially well protected in his vehicle on dry land. During former connections with this head I was able to look into the far future in the Akasha principle to see vehicles no longer driven by combustion engines or atomic power. Quite a different kind of fuel will be used for the vehicles of transportation in the far future and will move them along at an incredible speed without any noise or odor. However, I was forbidden to reveal any details about this. The future alone will prove it true, and that every new invention has long before been laid down in the Akasha principle. Figure 200, Hymia, 26 degrees Virgo, is a mighty protector of human consciousness on our earth. The average man would hardly be able to comprehend the range of power of this head. He prevents, for instance, the consciousness of the average man from traveling beyond the limits of the physical world. However, he allows the magician to enlarge the capacity of his consciousness, depending on his magical maturity. In other words, this head controls the development and maturity of each human being. He decides whether a person suffering from disturbances of his consciousness, an insane man or woman, should become healthy again and regain his normal state of mind. If this intelligence approves of his recovery, the psychiatrist will succeed in making the person completely sane again. Hymia also controls all those people committing suicide, whose deed is not carried out under the conditions of karma, so that they do not regain their consciousness in the astral world before the period has elapsed which they should have lived on earth. Not before the expiration of this certain period will suicides awake from their twilight sleep to get their full astral consciousness. Much more could be said about this head, but, however, these hints will be enough for the magician. If he gets into contact with this intelligence, he will never go astray mentally and will be given, by this intelligence, the power to read the consciousness of every man and to influence it. For instance, he could make him memorize pictures of the past or else delete such pictures completely from his memory. The magician learns from this head how to carry out a transference of consciousness in the magical manner, which, in the Orient, is known under the name of Abhisheka or anchor. Figure 201, Samoram, 27 degrees Virgo, is the master of all animals of the air. From the smallest fly up to the noble eagle all come under his protection. To the magician in contact with this head will be revealed all the secrets of flying animals. If the magician wishes it, Samoram will show him methods and give him instructions by which he can gain the power of controlling every animal of the air. By using appropriate words, the magician, for instance, succeeds in forcing the greediest eagle or vulture to come down from great heights and to sit down without anxiety on the shoulders of the magician. He can tame any bird of prey in a manner that it will play with children and not harm the tiniest animal. Many other magic arts in respect of the animal kingdom, which to the average man must sound incredible, can be carried out by the magician. Figure 202, Astolitu, 28 degrees Virgo, is a special custodian of many magic keys and secrets. In our present state of development, he leads and controls the aeronautics of the whole world with all its inventions. He can give the magician many inspirations in this respect. To the magician of the highest rank he reveals the secrets of gravitation and instructs him in the practical application of the power of gravity. Long before our civilization, many thousand years ago, our Earth was inhabited by people with a high civilization who were far advanced in comparison to us in the techniques of aviation. To them gravity was no problem. They moved without motors or using gas to the highest altitudes, reaching speeds equivalent to the rotational speed of our Earth, transported without any effort and without mechanical help the heaviest loads from one place to another. After their ruin, which they had themselves brought about, Astolitu, the head of the zone girdling the earth, took the keys back to himself again and now keeps them safely up to that day when mankind will have reached the necessary maturity and degree of development. In the Akasha principle, there has never been anything lost, for everything remains registered there. Only the highest magicians can read everything in the Akasha principle, which necessarily must remain a secret to the normal world. Figure 203. Notizer, 29 degrees Virgo, intellect and knowledge of every human being in the physical world are under the protection of this head of the zone girdling the earth. Depending on the state of maturity of a person, he controls his capacity or perception and makes him know things that are appropriate to his momentary degree of development. This head can therefore be justly regarded as master of knowledge, for it is by his influence that a man's intellect on this earth is sharpened, his memory is enlarged, no matter with which field of science the person is dealing. The magician is given instructions by this head which, if he follows them, enable him to increase the capacity of his intellect and to strengthen his memory. Notizer informs the magician about any field of science, and he provides all fields of science with that amount of knowledge that can be comprehended by man in their present state of development. Figure 204, Ruggiero, 30 degrees Virgo, the last head of the zone girdling the earth under the zodiacal sign of Virgo. Ruggiero is the custodian of many mysteries of wisdom and sees that true wisdom is only made accessible to virtually mature people. If, however, it should happen that magic secrets become known to the immature and unauthorized, this custodian of the mysteries of wisdom blocks the way to wisdom for these unauthorized persons by shrouding them in darkness with unbelief, suspicion, self-conceit and one-sided views, leaving the true mysteries covered and occult to him even though they may be stored in thousand drawers of the immature. The magician who succeeds in getting into contact with Ruggiero is taught by him to realize the difference between knowledge and wisdom by intuition.